You're what's called a legacy transformation mentor, correct?
Yes.
I've heard similar terms, but not necessarily laid out like that. What does that mean to be a legacy transformation mentor?
Oh, it's so exciting. I'm so glad you asked. I think of legacy as being line extending generations as Christ in you. And so for me, even if you just think of legacy as a line extending generations, well, the only way to get that line through and to continue on is with having all the right pieces to the puzzle, having them organized in one place, and guaranteeing it's communicated to the person that needs to find it. That was the crux, Gary. Man, that is what ate me alive as a paramedic. I'm like, how did these people not have it? But you're right. It was because of fear. People, like you said, will do anything for love. Well, I think maybe people aren't afraid enough to lose the one they love. We need to get past ourselves and get out of our own heads and stop thinking about ourselves in this life. Because what happens actually physiological is when we are experiencing grief actually hijacks the functional part of your brain, and 2 + 2 becomes blue zebra. Like there's not, logic doesn't exist when grief is deep. And so the problem is that is why a lot of people get taken advantage of, or you hear people that they lost somebody and then that person signed over their life insurance, or they did something silly. And we actually have the power to prevent that.
Our company had many, many choices when it came to what we're going to call the company, and we're called Southwestern Legacy Insurance Group. And I so believe in that, as giving people the tools and inspiration to leave a legacy for their kids and people beyond them and people that they work with. And I think inherently we were brought on this earth to be servants.
To build something bigger than ourselves.
That's right. That's right. I wanted to ask you, what is a legacy game changer method?
It's a 5-step method, and it spells a word. It's spelled gives, because as you know, we're on this earth to serve. So It starts with gratitude. Then it goes to intention to invest, but also flipping that around and investing in your intention. And then the V is vision. You have to have that specific goal of where you're going. And E is execution. That's where people fall short. They don't want to do the work. And then S is super, super awesome, because it's surround and sow. And what that means is surround yourself with the people you want to be like, where you want to go, and then sow by paying it forward behind you and bringing people up with you.
Yeah. So 2 last questions for you. One is, we weren't going to let you get off the show since we're about legacy. What does legacy mean to you?
Really, it is that line extending generations as Christ in you. And when I think of that, for me, like legacy to me is that line extending generations. And you can't extend it unless you have prepared a tool and unless you've found a way to have joy here and now, because that's the other thing. You got to create a life that's worth carrying on. If you're just walking around moping and all the time like, well, oh my gosh, I guess I better do this hard thing. Well, make it worthwhile living now and be sure it's guaranteed to be here. Have the right pieces of the puzzle in place. So to me, it is that line extending generations, a joyful.
That's awesome.